Hey gang, welcome to episode 2 of Calamity Stream Theater. This episode we're going to turn to Amazon Prime for a short docu-series that uses a little bit of humor and some expert insight to take big finance and the role it plays in our small world and help it make a little more sense. This is the giant beast that is the global economy. The Giant Beast That Is the Global Economy is an 8-episode docu-series on Amazon Prime by Adam McKay. Now, if you're not familiar with Adam McKay's name, you might be familiar with his work. He's done a lot of work with Will Ferrell, including on Anchorman, and more recently was responsible for Vice, the Dick Cheney biopic that came out in 2018. The corollary to his work, though, for this project is not those movies, but his 2015 biographic drama, The Big Short. Now, The Big Short covered the subprime mortgage crisis, and where you really see the influence of that movie or the style from that movie transfer over to this series is in the comedic interludes that he uses to help take complex economic concepts and break them down into something that's smaller that is easier for the viewer to understand, especially if you don't have a degree in macroeconomics or microeconomics. So, now this series is hosted by Cal Penn. He hosts those main segments in between the comedy. And if you're not familiar with Cal Penn, again, I bet you are and just don't know the name. Cal Penn starred in Harold and Kumar. He also had a recurring role for a couple seasons on House. To this day, I think his departing episode from House is one of the most gut-wrenching episodes of TV I've ever seen. And the reason he left House was to go on and work in the Obama White House. So he's somebody who definitely has the smarts for handling a series like this, even if not necessarily the direct financial background to cover it. So now this series covers a lot of topics, from money laundering to the effects of counterfeiting to the business cycle of death and how that affects us on a day-to-day basis. In those topics, the series can be a little hit and miss. Some of the episodes, the topics are a little bit weaker than others, and the comedy that they use to help explain some of the economic things can be a little hit and miss. I saw it referred to in one review as bro comedy, and I think given his work with Will Ferrell, you can kind of understand what that probably means. But I do think that the series, when it sticks to what it does best, which is take complicated economic principles and break them down in a way that people can understand, that's a little bit simpler. I think it really shines when it does that. And that's why I think the series is worth watching. I'll point to episode 3, the rubber episode, which to me is the best episode of the series. This digs into how massively important the rubber industry is to our day-to-day lives, between tires and all the materials that we make out of rubber that we never even think of. And it is a very fragile industry in some ways. It's an industry that, as this series shows, is manipulated price-wise to keep the market prices very cheap. And it digs into how the farmers respond to that and what kind of effect it has on the lives of people who have invested everything they have into these rubber farms. How so many of these farmers are trying to chop down huge chunks of their rubber tree population to divest into other crops, because the rubber industry is just kept very, very pushed down when it comes to the prices that they can charge. So it also covers the fact that there is a disease, a plant disease, that killed the rubber industry in South America. It was a rubber tree leaf blight that essentially was destroying all of the rubber trees. And this industry was literally picked up almost out of place from South America and moved to Asia to save the industry. I didn't realize how deep this went, but they even talked in the episode about how it's very difficult even to get a plane from South America to Asia. Usually you have to fly from South America to Europe or someplace else and then fly into Asia on a plane that was never in South America because they're so terrified of this tree blight coming in and wiping out the entire industry. So, and like I said, I think it was in this kind of episode where this series shines, where it really takes some things that maybe the media don't cover as well, but which could have immense impact on our day-to-day lives, and shines a light on it and helps you see just how important these things are to our everyday lives. So overall, I like the series. They're short episodes, and even the weaker episodes are still informative. The cameos are fun. Everybody from Patton Oswalt to Ed O'Neill to Ed Helms to Rashida Jones to Zach Galifianakis, Ted Danson. There's a lot of celebrities on there, and they really do have a great way of kind of interjecting a little bit of fun, but helping that push along the educational piece of this series. So I think it's really something that I would recommend. It's an easy watch. You can go through them quickly. Watch one or watch a couple and knock it out very fast. So overall, I give it a thumbs up. A little bit of a warning. There is a fair amount of swearing in this. I'm going to change that. Not even a fair amount. There's a lot of swearing in this series. So you definitely probably want to watch this a little bit later at night. Maybe not so much around the kiddos. So overall, again, the giant beast that is the global economy, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. So hope you take a chance to watch it and enjoy. Before I let you go, we're going to move to our very first bonus round. Hang on, we'll be back in just 1 second. Hey folks, welcome to the bonus round. Every once in a while in our episodes, I'm going to add one of these on to the end of the review, and it's going to be a little review of a corollary piece, something that could go along with the piece that I've reviewed for the regular show. In this particular instance, I'm going to cover the Planet Money podcast. Now, I have been a Planet Money podcast listener for several years, have always enjoyed it. What was interesting is I thought to add this to this episode because it's involved in finance and delivers things in a simple story-like educational way. And then I later found out that in doing research for this, that this podcast was co-created by Adam Davidson. Now, Adam Davidson is a business journalist who is also featured in 3 episodes of the giant beast that is the global economy. So a little bit of a tie-in there that I wasn't even aware of. The Planet Money podcast are these very short, sometimes as short as like 6 or 7 minutes, up to like maybe 20 to 30 minutes max. They're informative episodes that are done very much in the NPR style. It's an NPR podcast, and it's a very storytelling type way to talk about some very important topics in the world of economics. Recent episodes over the last couple of months have covered everything from Michael Milken to raw milk regulations to an island named Barbuda where you can't buy land. You just put up a fence and that's yours. So, again, excellent episodes, short listens, very informative. If you watch The Giant Beast that is the Global Economy and you enjoy it, I can almost assure you will enjoy the Planet Money podcast. So check it out. That's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a great day. Stay safe. Listen to the doctors. Take care of yourself. And we'll see you again soon. Bye now.